So I kindly ask Maria to present the TNA program. Just a second to share this.
Just can I
the slides?
Slides, and I want to show the website as well, so I need mouse.
Okay, you can use this, but you go directly to the
PITHIA-NRF.
You don't need
website.
slides.
I need slides as well.
Did you send it?
Hmm?
Did you send it?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't update it. Sorry.
I don't know. I sent it to the address you said.
Yeah, correct. Probably I didn't update. Sorry.
Yeah, I was late.
No problem.
But I can take mine as well.
Let me check. Second.
Here's this number 6. There's this one.
Excellent. Ah, yes, sure. Six. That's not okay. Sorry, my fault.
Oh, it's fine. So before we prepare, maybe I can start to talk.
No, I can start
Oh,
introducing you.
sorry.
Maria is from EISCAT, Scientific Association in Sweden. She is employed there as a scientist and works also for Project EISCAT as part of the PITHIA-NRF. She studied atmospheric physics and later gained her PhD degree in space technology from Luleå Technical University. Her research involved studies of phenomena like gravity waves and tropopause faults in the upper troposphere, lower stratosphere region with the help of MST radar phased array systems. So I'm going to share this there. Just let me check. Okay, I'm presenting also the slides. So you can, for the slides, you can use this. With the Science Center, I will give you the keyboard.
So now I will talk about the PITHIA-TNA program. TNA stands for Transnational Access Program. In the last day and a half, we heard a lot about various data collections, various instruments, and what everything is available. But before we start to work with somebody, we need to know how to work with it. And this is a great opportunity how to learn about some of these instruments and models. So what the TNA program is about and for whom it is, it's what I think the advantages are that actually applicants to the TNA program get access to key experimental and data processing facilities in the frame of PITHIA. So for the research in plasma sphere, ionosphere, and thermosphere, and it's an opportunity to learn how to run own project. The amount of time we are giving, it's not very big, so it doesn't have to be very difficult project, but it's a very good way to, for example, I work at EISCAT, which is Incoherent Scatter Radar, and we provide ionospheric parameters and observations, and if you want to use it, you need to understand how this data is acquired. So there is an opportunity to submit a project to us, and then if it's accepted, you will be able to come and see actually the radar and talk with the experts from our place and learn actually how this data can be analyzed and how it can be used. So PITHIA is offering physical access, and we also developed the remote access. The physical access is for a period of 1 work week, and the remote access is equivalent in online sessions. So for some instruments or some models, it's not so important to be in the place. So it can be made easier with remote access. Just meet and have trainings and explanations. The whole of the project is envisioned for up to 6 months. which includes the actual preparation, start of the project, and the actual access. And then you have time for your analysis and writing of the report, which I will come to. And of course, during all the 6 months, there is support in case of questions. And which we want to emphasize its possibility to apply to multiple nodes. So you have some primary node, for example, you want to go to INGV, so you apply for INGV, but similar, I don't know, GNSS data is provided also from other nodes, so you can put them as secondary nodes. So this is for whom it would be suited and where you can go. It's the 12 nodes you can see here that were also in Anna's slides. So from EISCAT in the high latitudes and ISGO in the high latitudes to mid latitudes and the Mediterranean area. And I'm not going into details, of course, it's models, DigiSon data, GNSS data, incoherent scatter radar data, low-FAR data. So there is a lot of opportunities to exploit the data and models and learn if you have the idea. So the whole idea is it's transnational access. You can see the nodes here on the map, and transnational means you need to apply for a node that's outside of your country of residence or affiliation. There is also other conditions, like if you are, for example, from DLR, you have to check if some of your salary money is not coming from PITHIA project, which probably is not if you are here in the school. And then you can apply to other nodes if not. And for example, EISCAT has a big user community which has already access to EISCAT time for observations. So they cannot apply to EISCAT for TNA because they have other possibility. So you have to check if for the node you are interested in, you do not have other usual channel to apply for. So the TNA process itself, of course, starts with call. So we are sending out calls. Presently, the 4th TNA call is open, and it will be open until 15th of June. It's evaluated on a rolling basis. So whenever we get an application, our TNA center looks at it if it fulfills all the technical conditions, like if nothing's missing, and then it's sent to a review committee. But so the call is evaluated right away. So you can start to think, gather information, ideas. For this, a lot of information is on the web page. I will show soon. Just I'll go through a few more other steps. So if you gather the ideas and information, of course, you have to write a proposal, which is a file. We limit it to 4 pages. So in 4 pages, you need to describe what your idea is from the scientific point of view, and how the nodes you are requesting from could help you to realize this. What do you need from them? I need data, I need DigiSon experiment, or what else? I need to learn how to run the model, for example. And then once you are prepared, you can submit through the TNA application form. And could I now switch for... It's not just alt tab. So, thank you. So this is our PITHIA website. So once the call is out, you can also see we have opened the 4th call. And I just want to say, don't worry, like this call is open until 15th of June, but there will be another call planned for after summer. So it's not the end. But on the website at first, you can see we have this part for PITHIA-NRF users where we have TNA part, and you can see the calls, and you can access information about all nodes. So, for example, if we go to EISCAT node, since I know that one, we can either read overview of EISCAT node or see this TNA to EISCAT node where we present what we are supposed to, what you can use when asking for TNA to us. So we have two possibilities to go for TNA to Tromsø and Kiruna. So it's basically shown here what we can offer. At each side of the, oops, I'm sorry, of the TNA access page, you have a file about the TNA to the node, and then you have contact persons. Since the whole access period is 1 week, the project needs to be thought through if it fits this time period, because it's easy to be over-ambitious with projects. So if you are in any doubt, you can always contact either of the contact people on these web pages and ask about, what do you think? Is this feasible? Would this work? Before you write, before you submit your application. So this kind of web page is there for each of the nodes. And other places you can find information. For example, we have TNA project overview. So on this web page, you have all the TNA projects that already started or had signed the TNA contract. So they were accepted, had talks, and started to work on the project. So for inspiration, we had various kinds of projects. For example, for EISCAT, we had also this Indian project, which mainly involved education to learn about EISCAT data. So it was not, it doesn't have to be always just new science, but it has to be something profitable for the science. Or for example, ING, we had this Dutch project comparing Dutch GNSS receiver measurements to INGV, because they just, I think they just gained the GNSS receiver and didn't have any experience. So they needed to learn what are we able to do with this. So you can go through the projects and have a look. It's mostly abstract and titles, and if they are finished or in progress, some information. And then the other important information is, of course, evaluation criteria. We evaluate based on eligibility, feasibility, and scientific potential. So once the application is received by the review committee, we always check the eligibility, which is more technical things like, is it, for example, outside of the country of the node? Are they eligible to apply for this grant at all? Did they fulfill all the technical requirements, like attach the file that's supposed to be submitted with the proposal? So then it's the feasibility part, which I really want to emphasize, because we are trying to assess if it's feasible to do the project in the amount of time they will be able to get, and or if the technical side of the project is feasible, if the node has available what the applicant is asking for. So that's why it's also good sometimes to contact people before the application, because it's difficult to know what the conditions are at the node you are planning to apply to. And then, of course, some scientific potential of the proposal. So the committees put together from people since PITHIA is such a large project and many different partners with many different scientific focuses. So the review committee for the project is usually put together from the people who are knowledgeable about those science topics. So they look at the proposal and write their opinion about if it's comprehensive idea, if it's actually something that has meaning, and which is difficult to evaluate for somebody who doesn't work with those topics. So there are some additional notes here which are important, and of course, like preference for candidates, we would like more European candidates to apply, but it's not restricted to European candidates. And we welcome projects with like not just new ideas, but something like that can bring new users to our communities. So we want more people to use our instruments and data. And there is some financial support as well. So if you go for physical access, you will be granted. It differs on the node, but I will come a bit later to that as well. And yeah, of course, the biggest support is you will get access to the experts, to the people that work with the instruments and models. And that's like, if I remember my student times, that's something invaluable because some of these people are very difficult to reach. So it's a very good opportunity. So once you gather all the information, it's good to go to the TNA call website. And in the fourth call, you have a link to application form. It's good to check a bit beforehand. You need to submit a lot of information about yourself. Some of the information is not so much for us, like we were asked by EU, where we have to report like gender or country of nationality of the applicant. Then you have to fill in information about the project. So project title, abstract, acronym, and which nodes. So it is possible you have one primary node, and then you can choose how many secondary nodes you want, but it needs to have sense why you are asking for them. And the most important is project description. So we need information about who is going to participate in your project on your side. Members of PITHIA nodes cannot be direct participants on the project. Then we expect a file submission. So you are able to attach one file for A4 pages. If it's longer, whatever is over 4 pages is not considered. So you have to remember that. And the file size maximum is 20 megabytes. Sometimes pictures can get big. So, oops, I'm sorry. And then we can go back to the flow. Let's up here. Yeah, this was the flow. So once the application is submitted, it's processed by the TNA Center and evaluated by the review committee. Now it's on a rolling basis. So when you submit, we will have a look at it. If, for example, the file is missing, we will ask, because sometimes it happens, just online things. And once the project is rejected or accepted, a decision email is sent out. So we hope it takes up to 2 weeks. It depends how busy we are. Together with the decision email, a granting letter will arrive if you are accepted for a physical or remote access, because the reimbursement might be involved. So the granting letter, this is an example from EISCAT for physical access to Tromsø. So there is some travel money. So we can, it's usually in the levels of Central European travel. and some subsistence is also for those days. For example, EISCAT provides accommodation in Tromsø on the site. And so in granting letter is stated everything you are able to get from us. So with EISCAT to Tromsø, you, for example, have 8 hours of observational time, which for somebody who doesn't have normally access to EISCAT can be a lot, hopefully. So then when you know this, you can get in contact with your node and we sign a TNA contract. During those negotiations and signing, you already handle with our nodes, and you can negotiate, for example, the general condition is you pay everything and you are reimbursed at the end. But it is possible to talk, like I cannot, for example, I cannot buy the air ticket for my money and have it returned later. So you can negotiate with the node if it's possible that it would be beforehand. That everything depends on the on how you organize your interactions with the node. And once the contract is signed, the project, you will agree also on some start date of the project and some expected end date of the project. So then you start the project, you get some initial user training, which each node is offering, and you agree, realize your physical remote access. For example, for remote access, we had an Indian project where we mostly taught them about EISCAT data. Then we, of course, didn't do it in 1 week of sessions, or we say weekly session per month, but with them, because they wanted to analyze more data, we had 1 session per month, so they had more data more time to play with the data. So this also can be negotiated, how to structure the project. And once your physical and remote access is realized, we expect in return something from you, and that is a project report. So the maximum time we envision for a project is 6 months. So from the date you agree as a start date of a project, we would like to receive a project report. We have a template what it should entail. It's being talked in TNA contract as well, and that's not. It doesn't have to have some. It has to describe your experience and what went wrong, what worked, what didn't work, if you encounter some problems. And after you write it, of course, you submit the report and feedback. We have the links on website for those, and you are also given them by our colleagues. And then just it's to accept the report and do all the administration things like reimbursements. So this is the whole TNA process from beginning until realization of the project, and all the administration is run by PITHIA-NRF TNA Center, which is organized by EISCAT. So this is our building of Swedish Institute of Space Physics, where also EISCAT headquarters are in Kiruna, very far north. But we answer emails, we cannot meet with people. But so if any applicants or already users, participants can always send us questions and we answer. You can see the email address there as well, and it's also on our website. So I would like to thank you. This is our future EISCAT radar, phased array radar. So I would like to thank you for attention, and if you have any questions.
Are there questions? Or you just started preparing the application?
Also, there is a poster with links to individual websites of the nodes if you want to know who is offering what, so you can check. And if you have any questions, just
Mike.
Just a question, are there example projects also accessible via the website? Because I think it's
yes,
usual.
that's what I showed.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
On the website, there is this. I'm sorry, I'm not used to this mouse.
No, it's not that comfortable at all.
This TNA project overview. In TNA project overview, and we are trying to keep it up to date. It might not be always up to date, but it's most of the project that signed the TNA contract and are running. So you can get some ideas for what were people, other researchers thinking about when they applied.
Let me stress again that it's a precious opportunity to access those infrastructures. So please convey to your colleagues and also to your supervisor in case you are students that this is a good opportunity to access those facilities and to join a network also. That is also good.
Yeah, the one thing I was thinking when I was listening to Tamas looked like, oh, the eScience Center is perfect. I can get access to everything, but I know so little about the instruments and that I don't work with that it's difficult to know how to use the data, even if it's accessible. So this is a possibility how to get it, the knowledge.
Of course, we are always open to answer all your questions about how to apply for those and some
Yes.
details, of course. Okay, thank you, Maria.